Hello everyone, this is the Prussian Prince with another Total War Attila tournament match cast, and this is the Agartha Flash Tournament number 1 semi-final match between Orgetorix of Agartha and Oleg Vadimovich. So this should be a good matchup as both players are very good. As we load up the game. Alright, so here we go. Orgetorix is playing as the Burgundians, whereas we have the Saxons for Oleg Vadimovich, it seems. So obviously this is not a good matchup for Oleg at all, as he is against the Burgundians. Saxons are, well, they don't have royal lancers for one, and then they have their axes are not as cost effective as the Burgundian axemen. On top of that, they are Nordics, so they don't have the Germanic archers, which you can see over here, or the scattershot hurlers of the Burgundians. But anyway, time to go over the builds. So for Orgetorix, we have the Burgundian Guard General with Brace. Then we have, let's see, on the right flank, 2 Royal Lancers, on the left 2 Royal Lancers, so 4 Royal Lancers in total, and then 2 Barbed Lancers in the center. Now on each flank we have the Burgundian Warhounds, and let's see, we have a bunch of Burgundian Axemen as well. Looks like 2 on the left, 2 on the right, some skirmishes too. Looks like Barbed Javelin Men all the way in the back. Up front we have 2 Germanic Archers, supported by, looks like 3 Scattershot Hurlers, interestingly enough. Those Scattershot Hurlers again fire 3 projectiles, so they will do quite well against enemy axes, but will there be any axes? Well, we have to go over Oleg's build then. He has a Chieftain with Orgetorix General with Brace. So, Chieftain G, as Simon and Jixie call him. Chieftain G. We do see a bunch of Nordic Horse Lords, looks like 4 of those, because it's max 4 heavy cav. The rest of the cavalry, well, we have 2 Saxon mounted warband, which are obviously not even close to as good as the Nordic Horse Lords. Then we have actually a single javelin unit on the field for Saxons, just a Nordic skirmisher. Again, the Warhounds, 1 on each flank. Let's see, 3 Nordic hurlers up front. Let's look at the infantry contingent then. No, it's 4 Nordic hurlers, my bad. So we have elite Nordic spearmen on the far left, Nordic spearmasters on the far right. Interesting choice. As for his main line, well, we see 4 Gezitas. So while this is an interesting contingent, Gezitas cannot, I mean, they're not going to be able to support the cav fight very well, but I mean, let's see how it actually plays out. Looks like the Germanic archers are already going to be using precision shot. They're going to lose formation and they're targeting Nordic Horse Lords. I wonder why they're not doing using flaming shot. Maybe this is yeah, perhaps this is something I don't know about, that heavy shot is better against cavalry as well rather than flaming, which does have a bonus versus cavalry. So who knows, maybe I'm not aware. Looks like this cav charge of the Royal Lancers is going to do significant damage to those Horse Lords. This one should as well, but the Saxon mounted warband disengaged, but by disengaging they still kind of received the charge and are now rear charged, but the charge was actually not as good because this unit kind of pulled out, so it was a weird charge. Here, as you can see, loose formation, so the Royal Lancers can get through and get an excellent charge off. Like in loose formation, the skirmishes are dense enough that it allows the Royal Lancers to get the charge they need off. As you can see here, Saxon mounted warband getting destroyed. Another Royal Lancer charge coming in just to finish this as soon as possible, so then that the Royal Lancers can pull out of this engagement. Now they just need to pull out on this right flank, but they're not pulling out. This is a mistake. Should have pulled them out and then gone in again, but now these charges are not so good. Now he's going to pull out, but as he pulls out, he's going to lose some men. Looks like some engagements over here. As you can see, Nordic Horse Lords getting charged here, taking significant damage. Now the Burgundian Axemen supporting. Looks like we do have Warhounds being released here. And the Nordic Skirmish is still on the fields, the Nordic Hurlers too, but Germanic Archers targeting all of these cavalry units, so they're going to end up dying. And the Barbed Lancers doing very well against those Horse Lords. Here we see the Burgundians pushing through on the left as well. Burgundian Axemen, though, they're engaging Gezitas. The Gezitas, however, are not in shield wall, so that is something to consider. These Royal Lancers will die to the Gezitas, though. That is for certain. These Nordic Horse Lords here going to die to Burgundian Axemen. We have a Royal Lancer charge over here, but it is not the best charge, actually. He just charged straight through his own men. And here he is not using his Royal Lancers to do the charges. I guess he's keeping them as a reserve. But here comes the last axe unit on the field for the Burgundians. The Burgundian Guard is going to go in. No brace activated, actually. Actually, it is over here on the right flank. On the left, you can see Burgundian Axemen routing, and these Royal Lancers still on the field. They should go for a charge soon, but looks like they're going to pull out and get the best charge they can. In the center, you can see the Gezitas will die to the Burgundian Axemen. Potentially. But there's a lot of Gezitas, so maybe not. Chieftain G still alive, and he will take a lot to kill. Now he's being focused. So with heavy shot, he should fall quickly because of the bonus versus infantry. Here you can see the Warhounds trying to stop the charge of the Royal Lancers, and the Royal Lancers pulling back because they don't want to get shot by the Nordic skirmishers. That would do a lot of damage. These barbed javelin men, which I guess I did not see, or did I see? Oh, I did see. He has 2 of those in total. Are getting charged by Gezitas, so the Gezitas pulled through the Burgundian Axemen indeed at the end of the day. So that was very good for the Gezitas. But here the Burgundian Axemen are going to get flanked by Nordic Spearmasters, though they're Burgundian Axemen, so they're going to do a lot of damage either way. Burgundian Guard General is kind of dying here to this Gezitas unit, but it's still going to do well. I mean, it's an axe unit against this Gezitas. Gezitas not even in shield wall again, so not going to do very well. Here you can see the Royal Lancer charging into the Gezitas. More Royal Lancers charging in here, and this Royal Lancer delivering a huge charge to these skirmishes. It's going to knock them off the field. Warhounds against Warhounds, but the Saxon Warhounds seem to be winning there. This engagement over here, well, as you can see, it's looking very good for the Burgundians. Well, yeah, actually, is it? Because, okay, the Chieftain G is engaged here, and that could change things. Royal Lancer is going to pull out, though, and they're probably going to go in for rear charge on the Chieftain G, I assume. So they are pulled out. This Royal Lancer is still on the field, trying to get a couple of kills before dying. Still some barbed javelin men left here. I don't know why they're targeting that unit and not targeting the Chieftain G, because if the Chieftain G dies, it is over. Looks like Burgundian Guard against Chieftain G. This is a bit risky right now because the Burgundian Guard is down to 48, but let's actually watch the charge. It's going to be massive. They activate shield wall, so we'll see how much the charge affects them. As you can see, still losing a decent chunk of the unit despite getting being in shield wall. They were not fully braced, I guess, and now the Burgundian Guard is going to do a lot of damage. And yes, activating brace is nice, but the Burgundian Guard going to chop it down. Even though they don't have as many men, they're still, you know, they have the armor piercing. But it looks like, no, the Chieftain G, well, Chieftain G is super strong in shield wall. I guess it's gonna do very well. But if it wasn't in shield wall, the Chieftain G would have lost this engagement. For sure. But I don't know why we didn't see Royal Lancers recharging the Chieftain G right now. Okay, general dead for the Burgundians, but is this going to matter is the question. But there are still some Nordic Horse Lords here and Nordic Spearmasters, but oh, the general dies for the Saxons. And still though, this Royal Lancer rear charge onto the Chieftain G is going to end the game here. But wow, this is super close. This Royal Lancer unit is with 37 men left. Oh, the Nordic Spearmasters routing with 48, and now the Nordic Horse Lords, yes, headhunt, they're not going to rout, but they're going to die to the Royal Lancers. So what a close game here. These Nordic Horse Lords in melee against the Javelin Men. This is quite funny. But these Javelin Men are actually killing the Nordic Horse Lords in melee. Now getting shot at by Germanic archers and draw. Huh, quite strange. Definitely not a draw though. Orgetorix of Agartha ended up winning, but a very close game with the Saxons. Quite impressed by those Gezitas. Well, actually not impressed. They still were not cost effective, but still a very interesting units. I didn't. Yeah, I mean they're pretty cool units, but against axes, I still don't know. I don't think they can get cost effective, and they're so hard to use to support the main fight, the cav on the flanks. So I don't really know about Gezitas, to be honest. Still. Okay, so let's look at the stats. We have the Scattershot Hurlers getting some kills, but not a lot, honestly. And then the Barbed Javelin Man. Wow, the kills on the Barbed Javelin Man. Royal Lancer is doing a significant amount of work, as expected, even Barbed too. These Burgundian Axemen, the kills are real on them. Burgundian Guard too. Very, very nice. As for the Saxons, yeah, not a lot of kills on the units, except the Nordic Horse Lords and even the Saxon Mounted Warband doing something. Yeah, that is game, so hope you all enjoyed. If you want to see more, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Share the video, and I shall see you next time.